We'll go ahead and get started. A few more trickle in. Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for taking some time out to meet with us and go over some maybe more in-depth features that you guys aren't maybe fully utilizing. This is the first one of our March series. Again, just some features that we hope to see you guys exploring a little bit further. This one is going to be mastering the punch list management feature. So we're going to be talking about the admin section first. So for those of you who are not admin sitting in this, just bear with us. We're going to go through some of the backside of things, but I think it's great for you guys to understand, what is on the backside, what can be adjusted. That way, for those of you who are actually going to be using the feature, you can give some input to your company on what you think might need to be adjusted or added. And really, really start to take advantage of this really awesome feature. Got quite a few dealers out there that have already been using this, but we are going to be talking about how to add punch lists, how to manage them, some of the automated features involved with it. And all of this is just meant to enhance your efficiency and your communication. So we're trying to close the gap between the field, which is typically the main department adding punch lists. They're the ones out there getting the first hand notification that has gone wrong job, and they need to be able to communicate it back to the office. So we're going to talk about some of those automated features involved with those field members putting punch lists in the mobile app. But we're also going to talk about the desktop app as well and how you can take advantage of the punch list feature in the desktop application too. So this is going to be a combination. So if you are sitting in this webinar and you're not on our cloud setup, our e-manage cloud version, you are not going to be able to take advantage of the mobile capabilities that we are going to review today. But it's good for you to see them. So stay with us. Keep watching, because I think that's any ammo that we can give you to take back to your team, say, hey, we really need to get on this cloud version so we could take advantage of some of these features. You need to take that ammo back to your staff and let them know why. So this is going to be definitely one big piece of ammo. So we're going to get right into it. Typically, I would have a whole lot of slides to go through, but we're going to get right into the applications today. So we're going to see the desktop application firsthand. We're also going to see the mobile app. So again, first things first, we do have to do some setup on the admin side of things. You can configure some of these things to make sense for your business. So while we're going to go through maybe some of the default recommendations as far as the setup goes, you can tweak it to whatever you feel best fits for your business and your workflow. Okay. Right. Again, feel free to chat in the chat room. If I don't get to your questions throughout the session, I will touch on them at the end. But I've got Marisa over there also manning that chat room, and some of my support staff is here as well. So you guys feel free to answer some of those questions that are coming in. But if we need to see something specifically on screen, don't hesitate to interrupt me. This is for you guys, and we want to make sure that this is all jiving with what makes sense for your business. So communicate with us. We need your input and your feedback. So definitely give that in the chat room, or unmute yourself and speak up. Cool. All right, into it. So the admin application. Those are my admins sitting in the room. There is some setup involved to get this all working ahead of time. So where I'm going to start is the drop-down setup. This is all going to make a little bit more sense when we actually see the feature in action here in a moment. But navigating to some of the setup on the backside is definitely key to really, really taking advantage of this feature. So I'm in the admin application, and I'm just going to be right here in the drop-down list setup. Once I hop into here, I'm going to scroll down to our punch list. As you see me scrolling, you see my text changing there at the top left corner. So I'm scrolling down to punch list. And there's only two. There's two drop downs here that can be configured by the user. We have our punch list reasons and our punch list root causes. So these are two, you'll see on my screen here, some suggested drop down items. But again, as you use it, as you discover how this is actually working, you might find something else that you want to drop into this drop-down setup. But to use this feature at all in the mobile app or the desktop application, these drop-downs do have to be configured ahead of time. So here's some reasons that we suggest: damaged, missing, shipping, specification error, and to do. You guys can add to these, but this is a really good starting place. So just jot those down. Of course, this session is being recorded, so we're going to put it on our YouTube channel, and you can always go back and review this as you get to setting this up. These are what was the reason that something went wrong? Was something damaged? Was it missing? So on and so forth. On top of that, we have an area where you can do some root causes. All of this information that we're putting into the system, it's all so that we can spit it out. Good data in, good data out, right? So if we put some good stuff in here that we can, management can go back and analyze this information, we can start to make better business decisions. What are the repeating offenders of why we have so many discrepancies and issues? And drill down and make decisions on how we can come up with the best solutions. Is it a specific manufacturer that keeps sending us damaged product? Is it a specific carrier? So on and so forth. So our punch list root causes, some great examples here. Root cause can sometimes be the customer. They didn't give us enough information at the beginning. Maybe the construction was delayed. That's a customer root cause. So we have to put in an issue into the system, communicate it back to our office staff, and that way we can analyze this and attack these as we need to. Design, root cause, installation, manufacturer, sales, shipper, to be determined is always a good one to put in a drop down. Maybe they don't quite know what to select. We're going to see it in action, how you can actually go back and edit these punch list items. If we put something in that is to be determined, maybe we go back in and edit it later on so that we can get good information out of these entries. So 2 simple drop downs: punch list reasons, punch list root causes. Again, when we see it live in action in a moment, you're going to see that there are some other drop downs, but some of them are coded into the system, and we'll explain why that is in just a moment. So punch list reasons, punch list root causes. Configure those drop downs. That'll be step 1 for my administrators. Okay. The next setup that you're going to want to do is get in here and in your action item configuration. Okay, top left corner, you need to go in and configure those action items. What you're going to see is a punch list action item. If you don't see this in your action item list already, if you'll please just mute yourself there. If you caught it. Unless you have a question, definitely unmute, speak up. Happy to make this super interactive. Again, this is for you guys, so unmute and speak up if you have questions. If I'm moving too fast or you have comments or suggestions, don't hesitate. We have our punch list action item here. If you don't see this action item in here, specifically worded exactly the same way that you're seeing it on my screen, it's got to be punch space list. There are some automated features involved around this action item. And if you manipulate this action item, and this is just our first go with something like this, this might change as we start to add more automated features into the system. So kind of keep that in mind. We have discussed this internally about how we can maybe change this up a bit. But for right now, it's, this feature is amazing. So to set it up, you do have to follow these very specific instructions for the time being. But punch space list. Do not edit that action item name. Okay. So for now, what you'll want to do is make sure you go up here, hit new, type it in, hit save. If you're not really familiar with action item setup, I haven't even spoken about it yet. It's usually my first thing that I talk about, but this is all documented in the help guide. Everything that I'm going to be talking about today is in the help guide. So we'll point that out in just a little bit, but action item configuration is definitely one of them. But go in there, set this punch list action item up. The most important thing about this action item is, who is it going to go to? Yes, you could do all this other settings and configuration, and I'm not going to walk through all of that right now, but to make this action item work, you do need to make sure that it's configured to go to a group of people or a person. Who is your first line of defense in the office? Who do you want the action item to go to so that someone in the office is getting alerted that something went wrong on a job? Okay. We're going to talk about the automation of this in just a little bit, but setup is important. So what you're going to do is highlight that punch list action item. You're going to hop up to assignments in the top right corner there, and you're going to pick who is the responsible group for this action item. Okay. Who's behind the scenes of these groups? Little refresh course here. You're going to go down to user groups. Maybe you set up a whole new punch list group. Little refresher here on user groups. If you already have a group that you feel like that's the group of people it needs to go to, or that's the group name with the people in that group or the person in that group, then that's fine. Go ahead. But if you want to set up a whole new group to receive this action, maybe we want to call this punch list group. You're simply just going to hit punch list, or I'm sorry, type in punch list or the name of the group you'd like to put on here and just hit save. Now we have a whole new group that we can select here, or whatever group that you already decided to assign to that action item. And you'll click that and decide who needs to be in that group. So maybe you do that back. I might have done that a little bit backwards. If you do want to put a new group in there, go do that first, then go into your action item configuration and assign that group to that action item. Okay, so we're just going to highlight that, hit assignments. We'll see punch list there, and you'll just check that. Okay. Who's behind those groups is in user groups. That's it for the admin setup. My team that's here, if I missed anything, please don't hesitate to speak up and let me know. But I believe that is all that the setup is involved. Not too bad. Okay, a couple drop downs, action item configuration. Okay, definitely, if there's some prerequisites that you want to put in there, completion tasks, because this is an automated feature, it's just going to automatically send the action item. Okay. It'll be available there if maybe you want to manually submit the action item. It'll be available in your action item list. But ideally, punch list is created, action items are automatically sent. Okay. I'm going to start with the desktop application, and then I'm going to switch over to my mobile app. But it's all going to communicate. So everything that I'm going to show you in the desktop application, if we're creating it in the mobile application, it's going to just put it in the desktop application for you. Okay. Let's start with submitting a punch list in the desktop application. So I've just got a project open here. Open up your project. So of course, go search, open up your project. What you're going to do is go up to the top and click new punch list. Pretty straightforward there. We're going to put in our description. What is the issue? What went wrong on the job? These can be used as a checklist, a to-do. It doesn't necessarily need to be there was a major issue. Maybe you just need to put something in here so that we have a checklist of items that we need to do to complete the job out. Maybe it's I'm trying to think of a good example. Repair damaged wall. Installer damaged when moving in. Okay. And then we see the status here, open. Something that we're doing, sorry, I'm going to go backwards just one step in the desktop application that we're getting ready to do. I don't know if you guys, if there's people on here that have been using the mobile app, going back to the drop-down setup, there is a checkbox called web default. If I just go down to my punch list again. Punch list reasons, punch list root causes. There's a checkbox here called web default. If you see these little black squares, that's not really checked. If you see a checkbox there, that's the web default. Okay, something we're doing is going to be creating default drop-down selections. It may not apply fully to the punch list, but maybe you find a good way to do this. But if we check this web default, you truly see a checkbox there. These are going to start defaulting as a drop-down at some point. We're talking about doing that in the desktop app, but also in the mobile app as well. So just keep that in mind. You can start configuring these, and then there'll be default drop-downs when you start, filling in your forms. Nice little tip and trick there to get it started. My status automatically is going to default as open here because I'm creating a new punch list. Okay, so don't change that. But then you'll see my type here. These are the ones that are configured into the application behind the scenes. So you can't adjust the type. It's either going to be an order type, meaning something needs to possibly be reordered. It needs to go through your order team. And this is where some of the automation comes from. I'd love to get some feedback here, though. Feel free to chat in. I have a question for you guys. Right now, when you submit a punch list through the mobile application, through the Go app or the Crew app, if you select order as the type, it's automatically going to send an action item back to the desktop users in the desktop application, but only if it's order. I personally have been kind of torn. I feel like no matter what, it should send an action item. I just rather be alerted about something that went wrong versus not. But you guys are the users. You let me know what you think. Definitely feel free to chat that in your thoughts. Do you want the action items to always be submitted automatically when using the mobile app? Or do you think it's good the way that it is, only on order? So if it's job site, that's usually like, that's an operational issue. It's something that happened on the job. It doesn't necessarily involve any product reordering or the ordering team to get involved. Right now, this one does not send an action item back through. Okay, but in the desktop application, you'll find that we have a submit punch list action item checkbox here, and you can do it on either or. If you don't click this at all, it does not submit an action item. You're the one entering it, and you're also the one that's going to be attacking it. I don't necessarily need an action item. I'm a big action item fan, so I'm always going to be like, give me the action item so I have something in my system to go back on. Yeah, I love this. Cool. Thank you guys for some of that feedback coming through. And we'll take this back to the team and just discuss it and see what everybody else thinks. But you're the user, so we need to hear from you. As you guys are using this, give us your feedback. We will adjust and add as we need to. Okay. So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You guys will add it. I love it. So yeah, right now in the desktop application, just focusing on this for right now, but kind of understanding how this is all kind of connected, I think is important. But if you select either or and you need to submit an action item punch list, just hit that checkbox there. Okay. It's right above the save button. So it should be, in your face. Don't forget it. Now that I've talked about it 5 or 6 times in this one webinar, I don't think you will. All right, the reason, there's our drop downs, okay? To do, missing, damage, spec error, shipping, root cause. Again, items that we can go back and report on. I am going to show some cool dashboards that we have available as well. Loving the feedback, keep it coming. And then the location is meant to be used as where did the issue take place? Where's the issue? Where does my install team need to go back, to attack this punch list or this discrepancy or deficiency? We have all these different words that we use. I want to make sure I'm using all the terminology I've heard before. So maybe it was Office 101. No, it's not a drop down because it can change, one punch list to punch list. Is there anything I need to attack from the chat room as far as on screen goes? I'm trying to switch my views over here, but I don't know.
Amanda just asked, she wanted to confirm it's only from the desktop, right? All of them will send an action item from the field, but that's what you're addressing. Yeah.
Yeah. As of right now, in the desktop, you have to click this button. You have to hit the checkbox here that you want to submit a punch list action item from the mobile app, which I'll say again when we get to the mobile app. Only does it send an action item automatically if the type is order. Okay. But I'm already seeing a lot of feedback, so I'm going to take that back to the mobile team, and it'll probably be out in the next update where it automatically sends an action item no matter what. As it is right now, if you start using it today, before the next update, order is the only type that sends an action item. I'm going to be super clear on that. I would hate for you guys to think that somebody got it in the office and you're like, well, I sent it through, you didn't. Okay, cool. Any other questions so far on the desktop submitting of punch lists. Looking good so far. Awesome. All right, so we're going to hit save or save and new. Maybe you just want to rapid fire and send a bunch of different punch lists through. Maybe maybe you're a project manager or a salesperson and you went out in the field, and rather than, maybe you don't have the mobile app, or you don't want to use the mobile app for whatever reason. Maybe you just have a piece of paper, a list of items that went wrong on the job, and you want to come back and just rapid fire entry them. Absolutely, just click save and new. We also have the ability to add pictures. So if you're doing it from the desktop app, when you click attach pictures, it's just going to go to your file. So you will want to save it somewhere. I'm all about like temporary folders on my desktop. I don't need to necessarily save it anywhere on my computer. If I'm putting it into eManage, that's where it's going to live. So maybe you load up some images from your phone or what have you onto your desktop, and then you drop them in there and just remove them. Yeah, so I got a question coming in from Sabina Raven. Notes, this is all just under description. Add as many notes as you need to here. If it's related to the punch list, I would note it up in here. If it's something else, of course, we have the note feature within the actual project. But if it's related to the actual punch list, I would be doing it here. And what happens is when you send I think I understand where your question is going. When you send the action item through, it puts the description as the action item note. Okay, so we're going to describe what the issue is and any additional notes that you would want to go through with that action item. Perfect. All right, we hit save and new. It'll just wipe this all out, and if it does not, there might be an issue there. Robbie's going to be on it. But you should be able to just rapid fire there. Otherwise, if you hit save, it'll close out, and then we'll see the issue come up here. Might be an auto refresh issue there as well. I love doing these webinars when we find out things as we are presenting, because then we'll just fix them as we go. So I just closed out of the punch list module because I had it opened, reopened it back up, and what you're seeing is the issue that I just entered right there. The system is sending an AI to the full user group. That could be confusing. Usually only one person needs to address the punch list. Is there a way to narrow down who receives the action item? Of course. Create yourself a group. So again, go in and create that punch list group, and then put that one person in there that needs to get it. User groups are manipulable. So you can go in and you can create new groups specific for this action item. And then again, go back into your action item and assign that group. It's called a group, but you can put one person in a group. Yeah, usually there's like a first line of defense, whether it be one or two people. No, yeah, so the admins configure the action item and what the action item is going to do. And so if you're saying that there is like maybe one person that always works with a specific salesperson, so configuring one action item to go to multiple people, unfortunately, that's the only way that we can do this right now. If you want it to be automated, there should definitely be some standard SOPs inside of your dealership when it comes to managing action items. You'll see here, I've got maybe 20 punch lists here, but if I don't work with a specific salesperson, maybe it's just a nice little FYI. I don't need to do anything with it. Maybe I create my own views. I only work with a specific salesperson, or maybe if I'm a project manager and only want to see my own, you can create specific views, and I can say, you know what, only show me Stephanie's. Same thing on the project manager field. Save that layout. And that way they're just hidden. But that is the only way it works right now, Sabina. So you've got to put the multiple people in the group. It's going to go to everybody. When one person clears it out, it'll automatically be removed from everybody's views. And we can also see, stuff like who checked something out. If I haven't checked this out yet, or I see someone has checked it out, I'm not going to necessarily be concerned. I always share all kinds of best practices when I'm opening up an action item, and this is actually mine. I'm going to claim it. Yeah. Definitely. Those are good SOPs. Sabina's making a suggestion. You could add the person's name to the punch list description so people know who's responsible. Typically, we're going to use like that project manager field or that salesperson field, or maybe even the team member field or the designer field. If you're one of those people, you can apply filters to your action item queue and you'll only see things that your name is attached to. Otherwise, it's about visibility and transparency. If you're a part of a department that handles punch lists, maybe there's something that you do need to jump in on and help. Or maybe, Marisa's out one day and I need to hop on this punch list item, even though Marisa would typically be responsible for that. She's out today. I'm going to attack it. And I always suggest putting in notes. I'm a big initial person and like dating it. So I'll put this in here and just hit update. And that way everybody in my department is going to be very clear and transparent that Stephanie's got this one. She's checked it out. It's not necessarily ready to be closed out or anything else yet, but I like to note these action items, and that way we show kind of responsibility, especially when you're a part of a large department. Perfect. Good questions. Love the chat room right now. Keep it coming. As far as pictures go, yeah, when you add a picture, it's going to be saved to the actual punch list item. And you can double click on these and open them up. Or if you just highlight it, it will show you the preview on the right side. If there's multiple pictures, when you open this up, there will be a little arrow here and you can just go through all the different pictures. So it's a little slideshow. Right. So as we start to manage these punch lists, whether we'll talk about managing them in the mobile app as well, but specifically just talking to the desktop application, what you'll do is mark these as closed. Yeah, next question. When closing out AIs, that doesn't close the punch list items, correct? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Correct, Amanda. It does not close the punch list. Yeah, so you will need to come in here and actually physically close them in the desktop application. You'll see in the mobile app, it's the interface looks slightly different, but the functionality is the same. As soon as I close a punch list, I've said that one's been taken care of, we're good to go. It just marks a line through it, but we're keeping all that history so you can always go back and reference that history. Maybe at the end of the project, you sit down and you're reviewing how the project went. Punch list would be a part of that conversation, right? Where did we go wrong? What were all the issues? Let's download. And you'll find that we also have a punch list report as well. Does that make sense? So opening and closing, if you want to reopen it, just open it. And it'll just take the line out of it. If you accidentally did one, you can always revert it. You can do it in the grid, but you can also do it over here as well and hit save. So anything you need to edit, editing the punch list, you can do over here on this right side as well and hit save. Cool. The report feature, when you go up to print reports on the top toolbar, yes, Sabina, I'll get there. On the top toolbar here, you'll see a print reports, punch list report. Nice clean report that'll print, the project name, number, all that good stuff. So again, reviewing, at the end of the day, at the end of the job, what happened, what were all the root causes. Great little report here. Sit down with your team and talk about what went wrong and how we could maybe prevent that from happening next time. Okay. It'll bring all the images on the report and everything like that. Show you what's closed and what's open. Of course, same features that we have in all of our other PDF style viewers. You can always email this to somebody, print it, export it if you need to. As far as other reports go, since we're on the topic of reports, before we switch to the mobile app, because we'll just breeze right through that because it's so simple. Once you understand the functionality and how it's, translating into the desktop application, I feel like the mobile app is always going to be the most user-friendly and simple. So we should be able to speed through that fairly quickly. As far as desktop company-wide punch list reporting, we are going to be adding a punch list analysis in here. That's coming up. So a lot of people are asking for like a grid style view of a punch list. reporting area, I think that's great. You know, show me all my punch lists that were completed last month. Show me all my open punch lists now, or, you know, by root cause, by, you know, to be able to filter down. If you've been in this area of the system, it's going to work the same way these other ones work, if I understand correctly. Ravi, don't kill me. But yeah, you've got all types of filters when you go into these different analysis areas. The punch list should be the same. But what we do have in here right now, you know, is a dashboard. I believe it's available to everybody. If it's not, we'll definitely get this out, especially after this, because I think you guys are going to like this. But we do have a punch list dashboard. These are the visual metrics area of our system. If you haven't seen this yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a nice little area to go in and see visually what's going on with these different areas of the business, but specifically punch list. And I can do some filters, show me everything open, show me everything closed, and it'll show you, you know, 86.96 are shipping errors of our open punch list. Show my closed. You can see that 100% is shipping errors for my closed ones. And then same thing over here, your filters, you can filter down to show me all my order issues, show me all my job site issues, and then it'll drill down accordingly. This was from View Dashboard Viewer. View Dashboard Viewer. And then punch lists. As far as other reporting goes, this is, you know, an area where you can do some historical type reporting, visual metrics of historical information happening with punch lists. But our current area, you know, what is currently marked as punch list, we still have this area of the system. So today, punch list hot jobs, I already had it open. It's going to show me everything active. So I want to be very clear here. The old way of doing punch list was coming in here and just clicking mark project as punch list. That is not going to allow you to see this detailed information. Okay. If you just do that, all it's going to do is drop the project in. But when you start to see this drill down, when I hit these little plus signs next to the punch list item, you'll see the details that I actually entered in. And if I click on it, okay, I thought it would expand out, but I guess not. Just opens up the project. I thought maybe we could see the picture here, but I'm confusing myself with the punch list model directly in the project there. But this is a good big bird's eye view of all the punches happening with all of my projects. Of course, this is connected to your manager settings. So if you're not seeing something in here that you feel like you should be seeing, you need to go see your admin. Your user setup is not correct. Whole different can of worms there, but definitely reach out to support if there are issues with viewing stuff. We'll guide your admin to get you set up correctly. But this is one centralized location to see all of my hot jobs, all of my punch list. So again, if you're just clicking mark it as a hot job and unmarking it as a hot job, that is the old way of doing things. When you create a punch list, it'll automatically mark it as a hot job. Okay. And it'll drop it in here with the details, a list of information of what went wrong. Yes, Jenny. Yeah, you still have to. This is all about just better wrapping our arms around all the issues, having one centralized location within the project and the system. Yeah, for making sure that we're not dropping the ball somewhere, you know, and we're closing the gap as far as field to office staff with the mobile app. I'm just showing you in the desktop app, but when you see the mobile app, you're going to see, yeah, how valuable the mobile app can be when creating punch lists. A lot of questions coming in, but yes, you still have to process your punch list the same way. If you got to reach out to the manufacturer for replacement parts, or maybe your designer forgot to spec something out and you need to order, you know, additional product that was left off the spec, you still got to go through and process it as you normally would through the system, which is within the project that the issue happened. I have any dealers on this call that are creating brand new projects for punch lists, we need to chat. Because you should be doing it right within the project. So hop into your bill of materials, create a new option, process that order through. It follows the same process. Good question, Tom. When all items in project punch list have been closed, does it automatically unmark as a punch list job? I do believe so. 99.9% sure. Ravi, if you're on the call, if you can confirm, that'd be great. I do believe it unmarks it automatically. There's my Ravi. I think he's here. Okay, so I can always confirm that and definitely shoot you an email, Tom. Or just blast it out. All right, I think I've covered everything for the desktop application. I'm going to switch gears into the mobile app. But again, one centralized location to see all of your punch list hot jobs so you don't let anything fall through the cracks. A couple different reporting areas, your view dashboard viewer, print reports, punch list report, and now we know how to create a punch list within the desktop app. Mark them as closed as they get attacked and get them off of that area in the system, because this should be your most, they're called hot jobs for a reason. We want to close those out as quickly as possible so we can get paid as quickly as possible and get commissioned from our salespeople. All right, there are no other desktop questions. I'm going to show my phone here. All right, so if you haven't downloaded the apps yet, definitely go into your apps. I highly recommend checking back really regularly. It is e-manageONE search, and it'll pull up all of our apps. A couple of random apps in there, just ignore those. But our apps are all in there. If it needs an update rather than open, it'll say update. So make sure you're going in there. If you haven't done this in a while, go in there today and update your apps. Okay. We're going to be talking about the Go app and the Crew app today. I am going to start with the Go app. Again, you only have access to this if you are on our cloud version of e-manageONE. Reach out to me if you want more information about how to get migrated over to the cloud so that you can start taking advantage of these mobile apps. So the Go app, again, intended for my salespeople, project managers, coordinators, those people who might be on the go on site and need to look something up. We're going to stay real focused on the punch list today, though. But if you haven't gone to the mobile app webinar, we talk about all the different mobile apps there. So definitely go check that out, where we talk about a lot of other features here that can be really helpful to close that communication gap from the field to the office. As far as punch list creation goes, in the Go app, you're going to see a new what we're gearing towards with our mobile apps, more of a guided form. So it is going to look different when I get into the Crew app, but I want to show you both because eventually they're all going to be converted over to this, if I understand correctly. But I'm just opening up a project. If you don't, again, backing up a little bit, sorry, I moved a little fast. Hit that projects tile in the top right corner and start searching at the top. The search works the same way as a desktop application, any part of the project name or number. Okay. I think contact name works, company name works, all of those things, just like the desktop application. I'm just going to be clicking on this Warby Parker project at the top here. And it opens up the project in a digital form, right, where we can see a little bit of information. But something just went wrong on the job, and I'm out in the field. Rather than jotting it down on a napkin or a document, piece of paper and taking it back to the office and going through the desktop application, just knock it out right here. If you're in the field, you hit the plus sign in the bottom right corner, and you're going to click New Punch List. Again, it's more of a guided form. We're doing this with the companies and the contacts, and it'll be on the punch list form in the Crew app eventually. We're trying to keep the mobile apps very consistent. So for training purposes, if you know how to use the Go app, you're going to be able to train someone on how to use the Crew app. If you're a desktop cloud user, you automatically gain access to the Go app. Full desktop users automatically get the Go app, so go download that today. So it says enter a description of the punch list item, broken leg on table. Okay, put in your description, hit done, and it just guides you to the next thing. What was the issue that caused this? You can start typing to filter down, or you can click on the form at the top. So I'm going to say that this one is an order issue. And scrolling and clicking at the top or starting to type at the bottom. Damaged. It was installation issue. Where's the location? Office 105. Done. When you click done, it automatically pulls this form up where you can make an edit. So this is your not last chance. You can go in and edit it later too. But this is kind of your overview of what you just entered. If you feel good about it, just click that submit. If you want to change something, click that change button. When I hit submit, it'll ask me if I want to create a new one. Again, rapid fire issues 1, issue 2, issue 3. Use this as a checklist of issues, because when you see the punch list form in the mobile app, you'll see why this makes a lot of sense to do each individual issue. Some issues are tacked differently than others. So click new if you want to create a new one, or at the bottom, it says view the new punch list. That will take you to where you can start to add a picture. Again, you can edit what you want to edit here. Top right corner is the little pencil button. The X will take you out of this window. Or if you click the bottom fire, it'll let you create a new punch list. So maybe you click the wrong button and you want to go ahead and create a new one. Otherwise, I'll click add picture, and you'll see it gives me the option to do my camera or my gallery. I'm just going to grab a picture from here. This cute little puppy. Okay, add at the top right corner, click done. You can name the document. Oh, I skipped through that kind of quickly. Let me do another one. You can add as many pictures as you need to. So add a picture, go to your gallery or your camera, click whatever you want to click there, hit add. You'll see the picture there. That's a bad picture, sorry about that. But you'll see the name at the bottom, and you'll click inside that document name, and you can re-edit the name. So if maybe you want to label it, with the product number, or, do some different naming conventions that can be really helpful when you start going through all these different pictures that might be attached to this punch list. Okay. So by doing a order punch list, this automatically marked the job as a hot job or a punch list job. It automatically sent an action item back to the office staff, for whoever the admin configured to accept that action item, to receive that action item. Pretty straightforward. As far as now attacking the punch list, you're going to be probably in the Crew app. So I am going to show the Crew app in just a moment, and how it might be a little bit different with creating a punch list, but it's all the same concept. But when you go into a project and you click punch list at the top there, now I have a checklist, okay? And I can click on the item and see the picture and the details. I can edit it, like I said earlier, but maybe this one's done and I'm good to go. You'll hit the little checkbox and it'll just mark a line through it, and I'm done with this one. Again, issues can be attacked differently. If it's an order issue, then maybe it's got to go through the ordering team, but maybe we want to go ahead and send a crew out to fix all the damages, the installation errors or damages that can be attacked while we're waiting on the product. So again, put those issues in one by one, so that you do have the ability to mark them off like a checklist.
Steph, will you address Amanda's question? She didn't quite see where you went back to add the photo. So she says we can't add the photo when creating the individual punch item. You have to go back into the list and then add photos. So yes and no, if you'll kind of show that again.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so the reason it's yes and no is because when I do create the punch list here, and I go through the form, I hit done, it comes up with this form here. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay there. There we go. And I hit submit at the bottom. So I've given it a look over. It looks great. When I hit submit, it says, do you want to create another one? Or at the bottom, view the punch list. So you would click view the punch list, then add the picture at the bottom. Make sense? Otherwise,
It's adding it directly into the punch list you just created.
Correct. So you do have to click a button to get here before adding the picture. The idea is that we're making it available to rapid fire. So maybe you want to do all of your punch list entry and then go back and add the images, or maybe you want to do one, add the image, create another one at the bottom right corner, still rapid fire. Bottom right corner will help you create a new punch list. So the trick was, again, yeah, at the bottom, there was a view new punch list. It doesn't go back to each one individually, but when you go into the project, which I accidentally clicked the X, so it would have taken me back into the project here. I go up to punch list. These are the individual punch lists. So then I can click on that one and add a picture. Go back, click on this one, add a picture. Delete there. Correct. No location on the drawing available. Well, I do have a dealer that has come up with a pretty cool way of doing that. They'll go into the documents, open up the drawing, take a that's a funny picture too. Got all kinds of funny pictures in here. You can open up the drawing, zoom in on the drawing. I'm sorry, take a screenshot of the drawing. So your buttons that you can click to take a screenshot, zoom in, mark it up with your finger, and then save that image back to the project. So there is a workaround. It's not the best workaround. That is definitely on our radar. Yes, when they click on the completed box, it does close out that individual punch list item. Okay, Lisa, I'll definitely take that back to the team and see how we might be able to modify how that actually works. Maybe it'll allow you to add the image, then create a new one. Yeah, I'll take that back to the team. I can see how that might be confusing. They would just move on rather than creating a picture, which pictures can be definitely helpful. All right, so creating a punch list in the Go app. Before I move on to the Crew app, top left corner, the hamburger menu, the little 3 lines, that's called the hamburger menu. If you click that, you're going to see your punch list hot jobs report within the mobile app. So maybe an installer, or not an installer, maybe a salesperson or a project manager in the Go app just wants to take a peek at all of their issues that they have on projects and kind of open them up and review them. One centralized location. Again, that's from the hamburger menu in the top left corner. A little 3 lines at the top left corner, punch list hot jobs. One centralized location. It's what we see in the desktop application, but now being able to see it on the go. And of course, when you click on them, it'll take you to the project, slide over on the top, click punch list, and then you'll see all your items there. Maybe you're a project manager and you're out on site and you just fix the scratch on the surface on the side table, mark that off. It marks a line through it, marks it as completed. See the questions slowing down. So I'm going to switch over to the Crew app, which you'll find very similar. Okay. Rather than working from a search and a project, opening up an actual project, ideally your scheduler is dropping your crew on the calendar and sending the crew out and saying, hey, 7802, I click on this one. This is the job that I've been assigned to. Again, if you weren't at my mobile app webinar, definitely go poke into that one where you'll see a lot more information. But you'll see here who's assigned to it, the little initial. Click on the initials, it'll show me the actual names there. So I'm assigned to this job. This is my first stop. On my route, I'm going to open up the project by clicking on it. And then I'm going to and hopping over, well, you'll see your work order notes and whatnot here. So maybe the work order note says, attack punch list, see punch list section, damage, repair damage on table or whatever it might be. There'll be some work order notes there, but they would scroll over to the punch list at the top, just like we did in the Go app. And there's your punch list punch list there, your checklist. And you can click on those just as we did in the other, and you'll see images and notes and all of that. I'll go back and say, I completed that one, good to go. But while it was there, something else went wrong. So I'm just going to hit the little plus sign again in the bottom right corner. That's where most of our activity or our actions are going to be. If you want to take action on something, bottom right corner, hit that plus sign, and you'll see the punch list there. This one is just a straightforward form. Love to hear your feedback on this. I'm getting feedback, mixed feedback here, but this was the original design, and the design you just saw where it guided you and you could just click and it took you from question to question. That's the new design. Would love to hear some votes on what you guys like more. But this is the old design where I would just come in here and say, this is what the issue is. Here's my default drop downs. Okay, it was order, damage, customer, location, done. And then it does load for the picture at the bottom in this old design. If I click add picture, go into my camera or my gallery, take my picture right there on site, and upload that. Way that, folks. They do have a centralized location here as well. It's kind of tucked away. I'll answer Aubrey's question in just one moment. Okay. But if they scroll over to the left, I'm sorry, swipe to the left, or maybe that's to the right for you. Swipe your finger from the left side of your screen to the right side of your screen, and you'll see some tucked away items there, like punch list projects. And that's one centralized location where they can go see all the issues going on. I find that that'll be pretty rare that they'll need to do that. Most of the time, again, they're going to be working from the schedule. Thank you, Amanda, for your feedback. Yeah, if I can just get that picture maybe prompted previous to the completion, that might help a little bit. But I do also really love the new form. And I'll give you a little, if we have a little bit of time at the end, I'll give you a little sneak preview of the customer and contact entry in the Go app, which is really new and fun. We'll be putting out an email blast on that pretty soon. Aubrey's question, when a crew member completes the punch list in the field, will it show the name of the person that completed the item if they don't have a desktop license? Very good question. Technically, they still have a license, though. I'll just make that very clear. Let me just take a quick peek, actually. I should be able to answer that. Completed, what project was that I was in? 7802. I believe it still does. Because technically they still do have a license. You have just set them up as a user, installer user. So if in the new user wizard, there's a checkbox that says is installer, that is crew app access only. So you have to purchase crew app licenses first. Then you can set them up as a installer user, which only gives them access to the crew app. They do not have desktop access. However, they're still a user, so it's still going to show that they were the ones that completed it. I'm double checking myself real quick in the desktop application. It does say completed. I don't know if there's a completed by, but I'll take that back to the team. And if it doesn't have that, I think it's a really good suggestion. Coming in. Good. All right. Real quick, since we have 5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and open up for any other questions regarding punch list. I think that covers everything. My team, if you're on, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's very similar in the desktop to the crew app, to the Go app. It's click new punch list, fill in the form, attach your picture, let all the automation do its magic. A neat feature. I hope you guys are loving this as much as we think you are. All right, real quick. If you don't, punch list, action, punch list items show up in open actions. How do you remove them from that list? I have open and closed items there. You have to still complete your action item. Open actions are action items out there for someone to complete on your behalf. Typically, if you're a salesperson, you see open actions. If you're not a salesperson, you shouldn't have any well, no, I take that back. You might still submit some action items, but typically salespeople want to kind of see what they have out there open on their behalf, someone to actually complete. Open actions are just FYIs. You can't complete open actions. So when someone completes them from their actions to perform queue, then it'll come out of your open actions automatically. But the action item physically has to be completed, as well as ticking the punch list item as closed or checked off as completed. Catherine, hopefully that helps. The service ticket module will still be available to create service tickets. Trying to open up a can of worms, Dave. We are service ticket is on our roadmap, our company roadmap, to assess what we're going to do with that. We're talking about combining them into projects so that you do have all the same capabilities that you have with projects that you could with service tickets. It would just become a service project. And then maybe there are some features that only show for that particular service project. But yeah, that's on our radar. I can tell you that we're probably not going to be just adding these features to the service ticket module. We're talking about keep killing and combining, make things simple. I have all these different areas of the program. Hopefully that helps, Dave. We can chat about that offline if you're interested. Amanda, I see now why having everything come in as an AI would be a lot actually like that job that ones don't, and will show up in the punch list now. Okay. Good feedback. Thank you. Well, I got about 2 minutes left, real quick, because I'm excited about this. It's still being worked on a little bit, but play with it. Let us know what you guys think. We've got to get your feedback so that we can make this work as best as possible. It is for you guys. So you're the ones using it on the day-to-day. You've got feedback, definitely send it in. But in the companies now, in the Go app, you'll see a little plus button, and you can create a new company in the Go app on the fly, create a contact, create a lead record. The loading time has been a little bit low, of a lag. So that's their first initiative, is they're working on the performance of it. But it's there. You can go in and start creating a new company right in the Go app. Super fancy. So that's just in the Go app. You go to companies, hit the plus sign in the bottom right corner. Same thing with contacts. Go to contacts, hit the plus sign in the bottom right corner. And then you can create a lead. So create a company, create a contact, create a lead. Next will probably be action items. When will the punch list report be available in the analysis report area? I can't give you an ETA on that, Kim. Hopefully soon. My dev team would kill me if I told you something that it's, and then we delay it. But it's on our list. It's coming. Real quick to close us up, we've got 1 minute left. I'm going to go back to my desktop application. This is maybe the most important thing. If you take this and this only away, let me make sure. Oh, Marisa, let me know. Can you see my desktop application now?
No, ma'am. Just your face.
Oh. Okay. Here we go. Most important thing that you take away from today's presentation, hopefully you guys found some value out of this. Please, please, please go up to the help menu and go to the e-manageONE help guide. Opens up in a desktop browser here, or in your Google or whatever internet you're using there. But go down to the bottom left and you'll see our e-manageONE mobile apps. Go check that out. Here's the admin setup for the punch list feature. walks you through everything that I just talked about. So my admins, go check that out. Set up those drop downs and that action item today if you can, this week if possible. Go check that out. Everything I talked about is all right there. And then if you go into the Go or the Crew app, you'll see specifically some punch list sections in there. If you just start typing punch in the top right corner, you're going to see a whole punch list section. This will take you to the desktop, but it'll talk about also how to go into the mobile apps, lots of links tucked into these different areas to connect all the dots. Sorry about that. You'll go to help, send a help request. Send a help request. Sign up for our service desk. This is super awesome. If you try to go submit a ticket for Punch, it's going to show you that there are some Punch help guide articles. Maybe check those out before you submit a ticket. But more importantly, we want you guys to be suggesting features. We are reviewing these on the regular. Go suggest a feature. If it's with the mobile app and you're like, hey, this is an improvement that could, happen in the mobile app. I would like it to do this, or I would like to be able to do that. Go in here and submit these. This is a great area to get help and to suggest new features or improvements. Cool. Any other questions that I can help attend? Awesome. Great. All right. We'll be uploading this webinar to the YouTube channel as usual. We've got 3 more webinars coming up, so make sure you go register for those. Otherwise, if you can't catch them, definitely go check it out on our YouTube channel after the webinars and get some more experience with these different features so you can start really utilizing e-manage to its fullest capabilities. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Have a great week.